Joining us now, and I'm delighted he's with us, Governor Ron DeSantis from the great state of Florida. Governor, why are these failed left-wing governors deciding to hit you all of a sudden? I mean, you're just the guy, you're the man of the moment.
Well, I think if you look at like California, they never lost population from the founding of the state until this current governor's been in office. Now they're hemorrhaging people. Illinois is hemorrhaging people. New York, and their tax bases are getting narrower, and people are bringing wealth to Florida and opportunities to Florida. And so they see that and they understand. But here's the thing. It is a result of us having good policies, but also them driving people away with their terrible policies. I mean, it's dangerous to be in these cities like Los Angeles and Chicago now. They don't support the police. They have prosecutors that will not prosecute crimes, people that are funded by George Soros. So the quality of life has really diminished. And the thing about Florida, when people move from those states here, what they tell me, people are proud to be in Florida. They're happy to be in Florida.
I didn't even recognize Tampa. I haven't been here in probably 15 years. I literally did not recognize it. It is one of the fastest growing cities, if not the fastest growing city in the United States now. It's insane.
And think about what they did. Someone like the governor of California, locking school kids out of school for over a year, forcing them to cover their faces, forcing them to take a COVID shot that they don't need or want. That's what they consider freedom to be in California. In Florida, we've lifted people up.
They called you dangerous for reopening.
Because we're protecting people's jobs and businesses, making sure kids could be in school. All of those left-wing governors opposed me when I had schools open in the state of Florida. Now what's happening? People are doing analysis. Oh, my God, the learning loss for the places that lock the kids out of school. Well, of course that was going to happen. We knew that. All of them were wrong on all of these issues. And here's the thing, Laura, even our worst critics, Pritzker himself, he sent his family to Florida.
Doesn't he have a house here?
Yes, he sent his family to Florida during the lockdowns. So while the people of Illinois are suffering under his petty tyranny, his family's down living in freedom in the state of Florida. So our worst critics somehow always find a way to be in Florida, whether that's AOC, whether that's these governors or mayors. And that tells you all you need to know.
Given what you've seen of the three that I mentioned, so Hochul, Pritzker, and Newsom, who has done more damage to their state, do you think?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you this. I think that Illinois and New York had problems for a long time. I think the problems in California have accelerated at such a rapid direction since this governor has been in, with the crime, with the education problems. Obviously, they're a very tax-happy state. They want to tax everybody. So I think that they've had probably the quickest decline over the last few years.
That's heartbreaking. Now, this is a broad question, but of all the problems facing the country, because you're a microcosm here, let's say the top three problems. What are they and how would you solve them?
Well, I think clearly inflation, energy, far and away, are crippling American families. And if you think about it, Biden came into office. What did he do? He declared war on American energy. So somehow it's fine to beg for oil from Venezuela or fist pump Saudi Arabia, but he doesn't want oil here. Well, the result has been those energy costs have gone up. Yes, it hits people at the pump, but it permeates the entire economy. And then they printed trillions of dollars. And they were warned, not just by people like me, who they're not going to listen to. There were liberal economists who worked for Bill Clinton, who worked for Obama, said, if you do this, you are going to spark an inflation. And so like you look at like Florida, we have record budget surplus, no income tax, great job growth, labor force, all that. So we're getting the state policies right, but you have the Biden inflation that's really weighing people down. And so I think that by far are the top issues, everything connected with that.
And the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, Biden once again crowed the other day. You guys think I'm anti-production. I'm not putting new oil into the system, but I'm releasing a million barrels a day, Governor. Isn't that so responsible?
And it's not making a difference. And honestly, that's not what that's used for. You don't kneecap your own energy producers and then run to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So he's got it totally backwards. And here's the thing. He ran for president saying he was going to shut down oil and gas. I mean, he thinks that somehow you can run a modern economy on windmills. You can't do that. And so we have an opportunity to be energy independent in this country if we had the right policy. Joe Biden is not letting that happen, and the American people are suffering.
There's concern growing around the United States that China is buying up an enormous amount of land, both residential and farmland. And I know there are plenty of pieces written about the Chinese purchases of residential real estate driving the prices up here in Florida. Do you have any concerns about that?
Well, I don't think they should be able to do it. I think the problem is these companies have ties to the CCP, and it's not always apparent on the face of whatever company is doing. But I think it's a huge problem, the influence that they have. Now, what we have done in Florida, I've signed legislation to crack down on undue influence from rogue states, including the CCP. So, for example, we banned Confucius Institutes in the state of Florida. They try to go in higher education, and they try to spread the propaganda. So we've taken good steps. We're also probably going to do legislation next legislative session about our pension investments with things that may be linked to the CCP. We don't necessarily have a lot of it, but we want to make sure that we're cutting ties so that we're not funding our number one adversary.
Does that also apply to the Chinese students here in the United States? Mike Pompeo has spoken extensively about the 360,000 Chinese students who are in our universities, both undergraduate and graduate. Do you have a problem with that?
I think that there is cause for concern. What are they doing in the universities, and then what are they taking back to China? You know, all the things that the elites told us to do with China over the years, most favored nation status, put them in the WTO. Oh, they'll be just like us. They'll be more democratic. It's been the opposite. It's empowered them, but then they become more autocratic, and they're now flexing their muscle more than they ever have in our lifetimes.
I forgot to mention in my list of horribles at the top, Kamala Harris, but not by name. But she's also attacked you. I mean, you have to read between the lines. But this was in the last week as well, talking about the hard right, paraphrasing here. But how formidable is she in the future for the Democrat Party?
So here's the thing. I thought Biden picking her at first was like the worst decision ever because she's not great. But she's like the best impeachment insurance and 25th Amendment insurance anyone could have. Because as bad as Biden is, even though he can barely read the teleprompter, and as much as people disapprove of him, nobody wants Harris. And so they'd much rather stick with Biden floundering around than actually turn the wheels of power over to somebody that clearly is in over her head.
Lee Zeldin was attacked while campaigning yesterday with a man with like brass knuckles and daggers affixed to the knuckles. Could have been ugly, but it was kind of downplayed a little bit by the press. Wasn't really covered as it would have been if it were some kind of conservative activist attacking a Democrat. How concerned are you about violence against any politicians on campaign trails or at public events?
Well, I was in Congress on the baseball team when the shooter shot Steve Scalise, and he would have shot the entire team if you didn't have Capitol Police. What are they trying to do with Brett Kavanaugh? You had somebody try to kill Brett Kavanaugh.
They're still protesting at his house.
Oh, I know. Now with Lee Zeldin, here's the thing. New York's soft on crime policies, what did they do with this guy? They released him. He's back out on the streets. I mean, you're in D.C. and you don't go to a subpoena for this kangaroo committee, you could end up in federal prison. But yet if you go and potentially assassinate a governor candidate, they just put you right back on the street. Very, very troubling.
January 6th hearings are going to go into September. The country, doesn't even rank, I believe, in the top 10 of most Americans' concerns. Millions and millions of dollars spent here. Thoughts on what you've seen so far?
They're just trying to divert from Biden's problems. I mean, they realize on the bread and butter issues, Biden and the Democrats have failed the American people. That's not even up for debate. A lot of their own voters think they have failed on all these key issues. And so what they want to do is make the election about something other than what is the top concerns for the American people. It's not going to work. It may help them fundraise with their left-wing base, but the American people aren't going to be diverted.
Were you friendly with Liz Cheney when you were in the House?
No.
I haven't really heard much from her on other conservative issues, or what are your thoughts?
I think I overlap with her 2 years. I don't think I ever talked with her.
How about Kinzinger?
More than months. I knew Kinzinger because I was in Congress with him for a few terms. We had a number of veterans, so I knew him kind of through that, but never really worked with him on any issues.
I don't think any Republicans have gotten as much glowing press as Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Why do you think that is?
Here's the way it works in D.C. If you're a Democrat and you step out of line against the party, the media fillets you and they smear you. If you're a Republican that steps out of line and attacks other Republicans, you are the best thing since sliced bread. You get a profile in the Washington Post. You get booked on CNN. That's just par for the course. I mean, I would hope most Republicans are smart enough to realize that if the media likes you, then you must not be doing a very good job. Because if you're doing a good job for conservative voters, they are going to attack you.
I'm just seeing this at the Assistant Secretary for Health. Your good friend Rachel Levine wrote a piece in the Miami Herald saying, thank you, gender-affirming care is medically necessary, safe, and effective for transgender and non-binary children and adolescents. Shouldn't be hard to translate this into knowledge. That's more compassionate policies that protect rather than undermine youth mental health. Governor, she said Floridians support this, quote, gender-affirming care. Do they?
And understand what that is. That's a euphemism. They will actually take a young boy and castrate the boy. They will take a young girl and do a mastectomy, or they will sterilize her because of the gender dysphoria. There is no evidence that this is something that's effective medical care. And we know that people that do this when they're kids have huge problems going on. So we believe that this is not appropriate in the state of Florida. We don't think a doctor should get a license if they're doing it. And I think these doctors should be able to be sued by these folks when they develop problems later in life. This is wrong. Minors should not be having this type of stuff performed on them.
Well, there's a concern at the same time that Planned Parenthood, with the help of some of the teachers' unions, may be setting up shop in public schools across the United States as more of a counseling organization. That's what it's come to post-Roe. Are you concerned?
So we have a bright line in the sand. Our school system is to educate, not indoctrinate. We've banned CRT. We obviously had the big kerfluffle with Disney where we say no gender ideology in the schools, and we're going to keep with that. So if the union is trying to politicize, if they're trying to bring in left-wing groups into our schools, we will absolutely fight that.
The woke corporations has been something I think Americans didn't really understand much until you took on Disney. Has there been any blowback in the state after you took on the big mouse on
No,
this?
I think people were happy because they don't run this state. And it's not right to have public policy captive to a massive corporation. And they had gotten more subsidies than any company in the history of our state. They had their own government. They were exempt from law, massive tax breaks. And so we took action to say, okay, you can say what you want. Those corporate values are not consistent with our values, so you're not getting this special deal anymore. You will not have your own government. You will live under the same laws as everybody else, and you will pay your fair share of taxes.
Now, we all know that your wife, Casey, who everyone has to know is a friend of mine, but she went through a very difficult cancer struggle. I did many years ago. What have you learned from that in that health struggle as a husband and a father?
Well, I'll tell you what, she was incredibly strong throughout it. It is not easy. Obviously, you've gone through it. And I think especially in her case, I mean, at that time when we got the diagnosis, we had a 4, a 3, and a 1-year-old. Now they're 5, 4, and 2. So I think it's like when something like that happens to you and you start to think about mortality, but then you look and you have these wonderful little babies, mothers should not be in a situation where they're potentially dying when they have these kids to raise. And so I think it was a lot of weight on her shoulders. I think she was looking, but she just decided, you know what? I'm going to handle it. I'd rather it be me than somebody else. And it wasn't easy, and you know it's not easy, but I'll tell you, she is clicking on all cylinders now. And, you know, the kids are harder to keep up with because as they're getting older, they're getting into more stuff. So we don't get a lot of rest around the house, but she is certainly, you know, recovered from that and is doing very, very well.
Governor DeSantis, now you had a busy day today. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you joining us tonight.